Thank you, everybody, and good to see you all here. It's a big crowd. Very impressive. I'm Martha Mock. Let's see here. Here I am. And I am a professor here of clinical practice at the Warner School, which means I focus on teaching, practice as it connects to teaching in the community, and I'm also the director of the Institute for Innovative Transition, which all of my work focuses around disability as well as learning. So what I'm going to focus on today in terms of the specific pieces I'm going to be talking about is my teaching in terms of thinking about courses that I took with both Lisa and Eric this summer, and then the course that I taught just this fall. So a little bit about my background. So I come from a classroom teacher. I began teaching in Virginia many years ago, and that has been sort of, that's where my interest has lied in terms of then continuing my career to help and assist pre-service teachers in terms of their learning and learning to become better teachers in the classroom. I have a photo here of me using the first technology that I used when I was printing off a newsletter here for parents. There I am. On the mimeograph machine, yes, that was the first bit of technology that I used when I was student teaching. It isn't actually quite me, but that's about what, in the rural school district that I taught in, that's what we had access to in terms of technology. This was before email, this is before we had, computers in the classroom, any of that in terms of thinking about it. But as my career progressed, and I went to University of Wisconsin, go Badgers, any other Badgers? Oh, yes, woo!
I'm from Wisconsin.
Oh, you're from Wisconsin. You still sort of count, though, right? Sort of, if you want to. And yes, another fellow Badger back there. Done really well this year, right, in terms of the football, if you're a college football fan. I became a university supervisor in the pre-service early childhood special education program there at Wisconsin. I supported teachers, student teachers who were undergraduates and who were in the classroom, and also taught courses there as well. So when I was in graduate school, email had come along, and we were still using overheads though, right? And then I came, to become faculty here in 2005 at the University of Rochester at the Warner School. Came as an adjunct initially, and then I began teaching other courses and applied for positions as they opened, and have been faculty ever since. So, July 29th. Aside from Mary, who's in the audience, who knows the significance of July 29th? Anyone? No guesses? Yes? No. Oh, no, it might be. It's not nearly as, it's meaningful to me, but it's not nearly as dramatic as that. It's the day I was born, actually. It's the day I was born, which, to bring it all around to what we're talking about today, I am having this year a significant birthday. And as part of that, when it became 2007 in January, I decided that I wanted to set some new professional goals for myself and some new personal goals. I'll spare you the personal goals, okay? I'll focus on the professional. And one of those was online teaching and learning. I had only ever participated in, webinars online through my associations and through, I had, done some sort of static, asynchronous courses that were based in Blackboard. And I was like, I don't see really what this is all about, but, I see and hear Eric, and I hear him talking about this. There's got to be more to it, and there's this whole LIDA thing going on. So I'm going to find out what this is about in terms of thinking about that. So I stopped by Eric's office upstairs, and as academics do, we want to read things, right? I said, okay, Eric, I've got this professional goal this year about online teaching and learning. 2 books, the 2 big books in the field that I'm going to be able to get into this and really learn in terms of thinking about this experience and expanding my own practice. And he said, well, right, that was about it. He said, well, I could tell you the 2 books, or I have this 3-credit class that you could, take and that we offer. And I said, no, I can't commit to 3 credits. I can't do 3 credits. I'm, at a point in terms of thinking about this, that's too much pressure. He said, well, we also have this one credit option for faculty like yourselves who are wanting to pursue online teaching and learning. Why don't you try that? So that's how I got here in terms of thinking about it. And we did talk at the end of the spring semester, the end of the summer, in terms of, where would those books be at the end of the summer had I not taken the course, right? They'd still be on my desk. They'd still be sitting there. So, my courses and my students. So I teach both master's and doctoral students here at the Warner Graduate School. I have a variety of ages. We have undergraduates who attend as juniors and seniors, and then, through doctoral students who are 55 plus, shall we say. And we've got a lot of various technology experience and a lot of, various online experience as well. Some students have come to us, they've taken online courses in their undergraduate. Some haven't at all. It's all been, face-to-face. I focus on pre-service teachers or current teachers in K-12 public schools, pre-K-12, as well as doctoral students, and focusing on research methodology and dissertations. So I mainly teach methods courses and then the action research course. So in terms of thinking about the lessons that I learned about designing and developing an online course, so I think the biggest lesson, and this really, as I participated in both Lisa's and Eric's course, participating in high quality online courses, that was the key for me. First of all, I hadn't been a student since, a few decades ago. I had been doing a lot of teaching, but I had not experienced that feeling of going into a new field and wrestling with the technology as well for me in terms of thinking about that. So it helped to give me a good perspective of what my students might be experiencing in terms of thinking about that. It also helped me to think about where my own learning was taking place. So it didn't just take place when I was reading the articles. It didn't just take place when I was, responding to the questions or to the discussion posts. It really took place also, when we were having our synchronous sessions, as well as the multiple modes of feedback that other students were giving me on my project and that we were providing to them on their project as well. So really looking at that through all those different areas. It also brought me back to why I teach. I had forgotten why I went into teaching in the first place. And I realized that as I was in the class in terms of thinking about the engagement and engaging with people and students and in terms of thinking about that. So for me, that was key. It wasn't that I was, I was still doing it and I was still, engaging with my students, but in terms of really thinking about, possibly shifting some of my pedagogy and shifting how I was presenting it was important. And it doesn't have to be me and only me. Right? Oftentimes in graduate school, we're sort of taught, okay, well, you're the expert, I'm the expert in special education, I'm the expert in disability, I'm the one who's supposed to constantly be providing the information, setting up the information, doing all the talking. And even though we have many seminar classes, thinking about how to better engage with students was important. So the course that I transitioned from a face-to-face only course to a hybrid and synchronous course, because I realized that synchronous was key for me, because I wanted to be engaging with students in terms of having that social aspect of video pieces. So the course that I taught this fall, just finished yesterday, post-secondary transition for youth with significant disabilities, and I have students who are pre-service teachers who are getting ready to go out and to work with students with significant disabilities. It also gave me a fresh perspective in terms of thinking about making a change to the course that I had been hesitant to make. So I thought, well, you know what, now's the time. So prior to this, we just had done case studies, and students had read about students and read about families, and we had speakers come in, and they saw videos and things like that. But what I decided to do, in addition to moving all the modules online and then having the synchronous sessions every other week, and then face-to-face the other weeks, was to pair them with families. So they would actually have a more authentic learning experience here with families in Rochester. So it really helped me to if I'm making, one change, why not just change up how we're engaging? And it's turned out really well. The other option that it's going to give me is that in the future, in terms of thinking about the future of the course, that I would be able to more easily move it fully online. If we have students who are in rural communities who sign up for our courses, who aren't able to travel, 2 hours one way for the course, then I would easily be able to adapt it in terms of thinking about that. So in terms of thinking about what I want to share with folks here in the room, knowing why you began to teach, that was key for me in terms of thinking about that. Gaining a sense of pedagogical renewal, which has carried over into my other classes that I'm teaching as well. And I've, put more modules online, and I'm using things that I think I wouldn't have necessarily done. Challenging my ideas of student engagement and demonstration of knowledge. And, once again, determining, why do you continue to teach? Whatever it is that you teach. It's not necessarily a question that I'm not consistently asking that, of myself. So, all right. Thank you very much.